Alright, round one, we have the choice. Playing first. And... yeah, I guess we keep this. This hand's okay. What I kind of like about this hand is both Reanimate and Animate Dead are the reanimate spells that can target my opponent's graveyard, which I think is relevant. Granted, we don't have any fatties yet, but we have the added advantage of 2 tutor effects. And we also have Liliana if I find a third land, which can both put cards in my opponent's graveyard, but can also make me discard a fatty if I were to, say, draw one. I think we want to hold up on the Verdant for now, but it's likely going to find a green mana. It's just I don't mind finding a bit more mana for now. I don't need to really deck thin exactly yet, although I guess I could. Rock versus rock, you say? I wouldn't mind if he played Scavenging Ooze. I can just get rid of it. Alright, well, we're going to likely just make him sacrifice this ramp card, because I don't have a fatty to discard yet anyway. There's Rafellos, though, who only ramps this one right now. Guess we still definitely find a green mana. And let's play Liliana and make him discard the elves. I don't know which card I would discard first if I use Liliana's uptick ability. I kind of feel like I want to. I probably can discard Makeshift. Both Reanimate and Animate Dead, like I said, better for since they can actually hit my opponent's creatures, so alright. We'll ditch the Makeshift. I would say having 3 reanimate targets is enough anyway. Alright, well, if you're going to discard that, then how about I bring it back? And yes, I used Reanimate because it seemed like a reasonable amount of mana to pay. Or life to pay, rather, especially since I'll be gaining it back. So I'd rather save the Animate Dead for something even more ginormous. Although he did just Abrupt Decay my Liliana. Even if he deals with Baneslayer, I can just get it back. Probably tutoring for like ultimate price or something. Corpse Dance. No top creatures in our yard yet. I think we're just swinging for the fences here. Well, it is a forest card, right? Well, I guess that's good for us. Also, our opponent sharing a mana base with us is actually good for Sundering Titan purposes, because it means we can play Sundering Titan and just nuke his lands. I may have to bust Damnation, but This is actually okay. I guess he takes Animate Dead. We're still left with Corpse Dance. It's actually, I guess it kind of sucks he's taking Animate Dead. But we've got double tutor effect coming up here. To find, at this point we can cast anything in our deck. Guess we can't cast Gristlebrand, but we can cast, or Massacre Worm, I guess. Alright, I take it back. We can cast Terracodon, Sundering Titan, and Ugin. All of which are the most important anyway. Alright, Thragtusk. Channel, not so good here. Yeah, Damnation doesn't look as good. He knows about the Damnation, though, which makes this slightly worse. I probably take one hit from Thragtusk. Guess either way I'm going to be taking some hits, though, aren't I? I think I just chump block and then set up for Damnation next turn. It's probably the best play I've got. I kind of don't need Raphaelos as much at the moment, even though he can ramp me 4. Necrotal's not bad, actually. I think I'd save the Damnation. Let's just Necrotal. Because then the Necrotal can come back later with the Corpse Dance, with buyback. Although, admittedly, I guess the buyback's not that insane, but... This sets me up for a better Damnation. Granted, I got to take a little bit of damage here, but he's 3 life behind still, so can find a way to make this work. It's going to take him 3 turns to catch up, or maybe it's just 2 turns. Buried Alive. Well, that's a pretty good one. So I can Buried Alive plus Corpse Dance, but then I can't buy back. I think I want to buy back. I can also channel Buried Alive plus buyback. That way I can do Gristlebrand, Terracodon. He's only got 1 card left. I think we bust the channel here, actually. So I have to make sure I do this right. Okay. Channel. And Buried Alive. Actually, cancel that. Black. Buried Alive. Gristlebrand. Titan. Terastodon. And then we Corpse Dance, buy back Gristlebrand to refill our hand. One. I can do Terastodon too and blow up Song of the Dryad. I kind of like that. Let's do that. I can blow up his white mana. I don't mind blowing up my green mana at this point. But I'm only going to be left with 5 lands, and I still want to buy back Corpse Dance. But I'm going to be able to get Gristlebrand next turn anyway. I could just get a big army here, though. Actually, yeah. You know what? I think we just blow up our lands. Because this gives us an army. It still lets us Corpse Dance Gristlebrand next turn. Actually, it's not like I got to choose. I just happened to. I would have had to have done Terastodon. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm glad that I placed it in my yard in the order that happened to. I actually shouldn't have attacked with Necrotal there, but he chump blocked anyway. So I guess it worked out. But if Necrotal had died, it would have made me only able to do Necrotal off the Corpse Dance until I got some more lands. But he still has to deal with Baneslayer, so it's not like I'm in any sort of emergency situation here. Could have Day of Judgment or Wrath of God as his last card, but guess we'll deal with that when we have to. I just didn't like giving him the beasts. Alright, that thankfully doesn't matter. Alright, let's just Corpse Dance. Gristlebrand. Oh wait, that's the top card? Alright, well, it still works pretty well for us. That wasn't the top that I thought it was going to be. I'm going to get to nuke 3 more lands when Sundering Titan leaves too, so it's going to be absolutely brutal. Just nuke 6 of my opponent's lands. Alright, that was cool. Sideboard. So my opponent does have good creatures, which makes Puppeteer click better. Might actually want this. That's probably it. I mean, I could do Dragonlord Silumgar too, but I don't mind keeping my deck for just things I can actually cast. What do I want to cut for Puppeteer click? I don't know. Buried Alive actually played kind of well there with all of our reanimation spells. I think we actually need Buried Alive. I could cut the Dark Ritual, although Dark Ritual with Shallow Grave, or Corpse Dance rather, and Channel was, I think that those three together could do some cool stuff. Cast it 3 times. That costs you a lot of life, though. It's not that great. Maybe I can cut the Dark Ritual, but I don't mind it. I don't want to cut him, though. I don't want to cut Enablers for reanimation. I could cut like a Shallow Grave, and then I'm still left with what? Reanimate, Animate, Dead, Corpse Dance, Makeshift. That's a lot. Let's cut Shallow Grave. I'm okay with that. Got the old Channel, and we have Ugin, so that's what the plan is. Hopefully we don't get Inquisitioned, but if we do, so be it. Alright, I think we actually open with Woodland Cemetery. Next turn, Channel for Ugin. The only reason I open with Woodland is we're not doing anything turn 1 anyway. And I don't think we have any other lands like that. Alright, Lotus Cobra plus a land drop. Let's see if he's got the Hand Disruption. We've got the Hymn to Turak in our deck, so it's got to be something better than that. Oh, that's sad. So he's going to hit our Channel, which is just a huge kick in the dick. But it happens. At least he's down to 3 cards left in hand. And we can do a turn 3 Puppeteer click, but god, that's not even good. It's okay, I guess. It has Persist, so it can block things. But I'd rather draw something sexier now. Alright, we got some work to do. I guess we can play Verdant now. Find a third black source. So we can, I don't know, at some point hard cast Massacre Worm if we have to. Hand Disruption, unfortunately, is exceptionally good against us because our deck requires many pieces. To get going. If you play something fat here, I might just have to cast Puppeteer click. Alright. So it looks like he's just going Beatdown. I probably just play the Puppeteer click. Thing is, I can resurrect it later. So it makes more sense to me to just get it down. Yeah, especially with the land draws. So I think we just go land, Dark Rit, Puppeteer click. I admit I'm not super happy about it. but it's got persist, so keeps his dudes at bay. He's only got a couple cards in hand, so might be enough while we find one of our triple black spells or a batter skull or something. What would I search up with a tutor? I actually don't know the answer to that. Maybe damnation. I could also hold off on the tutor, but I don't love that. I probably would want to find damnation. Oh no, does he have the Baneslayer? No, Fate's Fetters. That's actually pretty harsh too. Alright, so I pretty much just have to find a damnation. Necrotal would work too. There's actually plenty of cards I can top deck here that are good. Land is actually not one of them, as you might expect, but we've drawn pretty poorly this game, unfortunately. I mean, we kept the channel hand, so we kept a nuts hand, but it got really bad really fast. We're still on 3-turn clock, but problem is I can't tutor anymore. Oh, that's too bad. Alright, well, we can steal damnation. But that's my last out, so unfortunately opponent drew. Oof. Oof. That was ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly game. Alright, so hopefully we can draw a little bit better in game 3. Getting beat down by Elves of Deep Shadow and Lotus Cobra is a real it's a real sad case there. It's a real sad case. Actually seems like Elishnorn would be crippling against him. But we have Massacre Worm. There's no reason. Massacre Worm would have just annihilated him. I don't even need Elishnorn. Alright, I think we just go again. Draw better. Alright. Play first. Yeah, this hand will actually work. I mean, we can get Inquisition or Thought Seized, but so be it. I think we actually open with Verdant. I want to not draw lands or deck thin a little bit to find either Reanimator or a way to get creatures in our graveyard. Alright. Damnation, not the worst. Guess we'll follow up with Forest. Oof. All our opponents' hand disruption's pretty brutal, actually. But we can Damnation. Probably going to have to get our Liliana back, sadly. Yeah, so our deck is very weak against hand disruption, and it just happens our opponent's got like just an absurd amount of it, so it's tough. Oof, that was a bad draw. I'd prefer to not Damnation a Mesmeric Fiend, but I guess I don't have to yet. The reason to not hold on to Damnation is as soon as he finds Thoughtseize, we're in bad shape, but it's only one card in his deck. And Inquisition of Kozilek is a miss at this point too, which is nice. But I would like to get my Liliana back. At this point, Liliana doesn't do all that much. I mean, it makes my opponent have to sacrifice when I replay it, I guess. Alright, maybe we make him bust the Wasteland on our swamp. We'll play the Forest, and that way we have the follow-up swamp. I don't need to... The thing is, I don't need a Damnation yet. I'm only taking 1 damage a turn. I feel like the late game's better for us currently given that we have a Damnation in hand. And he doesn't have a Thoughtseize, I think, or he'd just play it. He could draw it in the next couple turns, but I'm just going to hope he doesn't. Well, Elspeth, unfortunately, is pretty devastating. But yeah, so forcing my hand, which is really bad for us, but I can't do anything except get brutalized by it, so not very happy with this board state in any way, shape, or form. Buried Alive is pretty worthless when you have all of the res targets in hand. Guess we Damnation. Does that do anything? I could deck thin with Buried Alive and put Necrotol, which can't do anything. Sundering Titan, which is in hand. Terracodon, which is in hand. Gristlebrand, which is in hand. So Massacre Worm is the one. Massacre Worm and the guys that bring my guys back. I think Buried Alive was actually the worst thing we possibly could have drawn. That was just absolutely dreadful. That was awful. Guess I'm going to Damnation. Not happy about it. Pretty unhappy about it, actually. But I think it's just something that needs to be done so I can get my Liliana back in case I draw any of my tutor effects or my 5 reanimation spells. Wish that got me closer. I'm trying to think what the card to discard is with Liliana. I guess it's Terracodon, so I can blow up Elspeth, hopefully before he goes indestructible. I guess I cast Buried Alive for deck thinning anyway. Although I'd rather like hard cast a Massacre Worm at this point, so I don't even want to put that in there. So it really doesn't do anything. There's like, no, I guess I could put Raphellos in there because I don't care about drawing him anymore, but maybe I do. Gets me into Terracodon and Titan. Alright, let's Liliana. And even Putrid Imp and Una's Prowler. I'll guess I'll Buried Alive. Although, yeah, alright. Okay, actually I guess Puppeteer Click to bring back Mesmeric Fiend's not that good, though. I want to draw a Resurrection spell, so I want to deck thin. So maybe I just do put Massacre Worm in there. Alright. Massacre Worm and Puppeteer Click, maybe. Puppeteer Click's mostly because I don't want to draw it. I mean, I want to draw a Massacre Worm, but having it in my yard, I feel like gives me access to Corpse Dance and all the, well, I guess Animate Dead. And I basically just want to deck thin to find a Reanimate spell or a Imperial Seal. Or something along those lines. So I guess let's dump the Prowler and the Imp too. Because at this point I'm like pretty close to being able to hard cast Gristlebrand and Sundering Titan. So if I draw a reanimate spell, I basically just want to be able to cast Bring Back Massacre Worm. If I draw deck search spell, I could probably find Dark Writ and just cast Gristlebrand. He's killing Liliana, which isn't good, but isn't the end-all be-all either. Alright, so we drew Puppeteer Click, which is actually okay here. It's not great. Can at least see what we're dealing with. How did he get Fate's Fetters back again? Oh, that was game 2. Okay. I think we gotta prioritize slowing Elspeth down. I'm gonna have a harder time dealing with indestructible things. Alright, so Fate's Fetters is pretty bad news against us. I think we actually want to kill Reclamation Sage. I guess, yeah, the reason to not do that was that now it's going to get exiled. But, well, I still needed to prevent the damage, I think. Although, I guess it's the same clock. Alright, I think we're just going to lose. I don't know a way back into this game now. Him to Turek. Yeah, well, we can get rid of Fate's Fetters. Unfortunately, it does literally nothing. Alright, I guess we lose. So, yeah, it makes me unhappy, but I can't do anything about it. Just did not draw ideally. I think, yeah, we straight up played 3 games and saw 0 of our 2 Imperial Seal or Vampiric Tutor, so it's kind of a huge bummer. Alright, well, it was very terribly disappointing, but hopefully we can do better in rounds 2 and 3. Started so good in game 1, and then the deck just totally fell apart to any sort of hand disruption, so very, very disappointed, but like I said, I can do nothing. I am at the mercy of my deck, so alright, we'll just see around. I don't need to wait, I guess. We'll see around 2.